Soul Calibur.
Hey, what's up guys, and for those of you that were looking forward to this review of Soul Calibur 6, my complete, unfettered, unadulterated, unbiased, this is going to be for you. I hope that you guys enjoy it. I didn't want to put it out right away immediately because I wanted to have like more than a week with the game to be able to practice and play with all the modes, just so that I can have an actual solid opinion of the game. And this is coming from somebody who's played all of the Soul Calibur games, save for the one that was on Wii. But there's going to be a lot of good in this and a lot of bad, because I'm just going to be trying to be honest with it. I know I'm a huge proponent of the Soul Calibur series in general, and of Soul Calibur 6. That's what most of my channel has become lately. And I just wanted to be upfront with you and let you know that this is going to be completely honest. So I'm going to break this up into sections. The first section I'm going to cover is the character creator. Now, I've seen mixed reviews for this online. Some people saying that the character creator is worse than Soul Calibur 5. Some saying that it's better. I'm somewhere in between. There are actually more options than base Soul Calibur 5, and even in a lot of unlockables, and there's a few items that aren't in Soul Calibur 5 that are new to Soul Calibur 6. But my main problem with it comes in the way of the races. So the races were supposed to be an additive experience, and they ended up becoming a detractor. So what we had in Soul Calibur 3, Soul Calibur 4, and Soul Calibur 5 is you choose your character, and then you can equip whatever you wanted to equip, as long as, you know, certain pieces couldn't go together. I don't know why, because there's the exact same clipping issues and problems that in 6's create a character that 5 actually had, which makes me believe that they didn't concentrate too much on it. Like, I'm talking literally exactly the same. Like, the same items of clothes doing the same clipping, and the floating cape issues, which makes me not looking forward if we get any hats or modern pack, because I know that I'm not going to use them because they're not going to fit. And I believe that all the DLC that we paid for in 5 should have been readily available, save for the Tekken stuff. I can understand why the Tekken stuff wouldn't be in, but, you know, the modern clothes, the police uniforms, the firefighting stuff, all the Soul Calibur classic helmets, all of that stuff should have been readily available, and most of it wasn't. So I was a little disappointed with that. You can do a lot of stuff with the character creator, but my biggest concern and my biggest problem that I have with it is, A, there's no weaponless fighting style, which I feared and I pretty much assumed was going to be the case. But I don't want to create certain characters like Superman, Spider-Man, etc., because there's no weaponless style. Like, the symbiotes are kind of okay. If you can see my playthrough background, at least Aswell's kind of works for them, because they do, well, not so much venom, but more carnage, and makes like makeshift weapons out of his actual tendrils. So it does kind of look like he's making axes and throwing like weapon-based stuff, so it works out really well for him, but it's very situationally based, and it's very like based on which character you're actually going to create. But my biggest problem is that the races actually lock most of the content behind them. So when you start your create a character, you choose your race. And inadvertently, instead of having all options available across all races, this locks what character stuff you're going to have. And let's be honest, most of the races are just like superficial races to begin with. We have like, you know, Malfested or whatever, which is a pretty nice new one. But then there's like the horned humans, whatever. You can just put horns on the human in like Soul Calibur 3, 4, and 5. Like, I don't understand why you have to have those exact size and those exact horns on your base character. You can do all of that stuff. I made a demon version of myself in 5, and it worked out fine, and we didn't have these races. I couldn't even create Lizard Man. I mean, I couldn't even create the Lizard, Dr. Kurt Connors from Spider-Man, because the Lizard race is not allowed to wear tops for some reason, so I couldn't give him a lab coat, so that was disappointing. I found myself wanting to use other items that were locked behind other races, so I would have to choose that race, and then I end up just making most people start off as humid or malfested, fully malfested, which is kind of disappointing. Anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on this aspect. I just wanted to go into that. The character creator, to me, is better and worse than 5. So there's no good way about saying that. If I was going to rank it, overall, I gave 5 a 7 out of 10. I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 10. I just don't like the fact that so much stuff is locked behind the actual races. I wish it was all available across the board, and you can choose whatever race you want, and then choose their outfits based on, nothing. They're all unlocked, except for the stuff you have to buy, obviously. Another thing I didn't like about it is that there was no unlockables. Libra of Souls was a perfect opportunity to have content be unlockable, instead of just having a little lock over some of the stupider materials too that I don't care about, like the maid's bandit thing and the cat suit. All that stuff was like locked, and you have to pay for it with like soul points. I get it, but I would rather have it be unlockable, so I was a little bit upset about that. And this is going to bring me into my next part of the video, the modes in Soul Calibur. Chronicles of the Sword in Soul Calibur 3 is why Soul Calibur 3 is still my favorite Soul Calibur game. It felt like its own separate storyline that was surrounding you, your created characters, your created team, and your own adventures. It really felt not phoned in. It felt expansive. You can play it multiple times, and every time you play is different based on which characters you choose and which decisions you make. There were hidden bosses throughout the levels, and lots of fun little things to do. Libra of the Souls is not that. Libra of the Souls is what I wanted I wanted to be more like Chronicle of the Sword. Basically, it's this confuddled story mess that doesn't really make any sense, and it's supposed to be a way to incorporate your character into the story. I heard it does get better after Geralt enters the fray. I haven't gotten quite to that point yet. I'm still traveling around with Maxi. Sorry for the spoilers. But I really don't like the traveling system, the traversal system. So you gain money in the system and you do unlock stuff, but you're pretty much only unlocking weapons for your actual created character and leveling them up. So you would unlock, like, let's say a level 6 katana, but you can't equip it until your character is level 6, something like that. It's a very standardized RPG kind of RNG stuff. I don't really have too big of a problem with that. My problem comes into you're pretty much grinding for money, because once you get past the tutorial section of the game, you have these ports, which is like a book where you can do different things like have conversations or go on mini missions or take requests or travel around the area and go to another fight. Now, this costs expedition money, this costs money, so like when you start at a starting point, you keep the same health overall the entire journey. So if you're going to the under end of the map, you're going to encounter random battles, just like it's Pokemon or Final Fantasy or something like that, so you need to be prepared with a bunch of food. Because once your character's health goes down, you lose, and you lose all that experience, everything you earned, and all the money that you traverse through. So you better bring lots of items to heal you. So that could have been done a little bit differently, but it feels very... From what I've played of it so far, and this is just my opinion, Libra of the Souls feels tacked on. It feels like a cheap excuse to act like we have more single-player content than we do. And if they really wanted to pad out the single-player, they could have just brought back that card battle mode from Soul Calibur 5. Where you keep on fighting the endless character-created things from up on the server, especially now that we can upload our own created characters. That would have been a lot better. I mean, there is a lot of good to the game, so I don't want to seem too negative, but those are some of the things I didn't like. Story mode, I guess, is fine. You have your main story, which doesn't take too long to complete, and then each character has, like, a couple battles. Don't be, fooled by the different nodes, because if you see a character has, like, 10 nodes, probably half of those are just conversations, in which you're just, like, flipping through exposition or dialogue. Pretty uninteresting stuff, and the actual fights... sometimes you're just fighting like random created character stuff too, so it doesn't really have much to do with the story outside of like, oh no, we were attacked. Which, I mean, again, I guess I get it, but it's not like... After 5's atrocious story, a lot of us were expecting like a really expansive, drawn out, like, intertwining story. I don't believe that's what we got here. I believe we got a simple, RPG mechanic where dialogue pops up on the screen, you're reading exposition, and then you're just doing like battles that seem to be loosely tied together. Whether or not those are like actual, good for some people, that's fine. It would have been nice to have some cinemas, at least like ending cinemas for the characters' individual stories, not like a picture that says finish on it, and that's it. I mean, we also don't have character endings for arcade, which is really disappointing. That's another disappointing thing. So for the story modes, it's a lot of padding, not much substance. Once you beat it, I don't really see much of a reason to go back and retread through that, unless you're just bored. So they're pretty much doing the same thing that they did in 5, they're just adding fluff to it. So they're focusing on online, and at least in 5, there was a huge emphasis on the create a character system, or create a soul, which is what a lot of people come to this game for. It's its unique thing. And it felt like they didn't do much to it. They added a couple new voices, that was nice. That's basically it. Like, there's not even all the stuff from 5. They did add some unique stuff, but a lot of it is stuff that you can't wear with other things, and it's just like clothes from the new characters. So you'll have like Gro's jacket, and then like Gro's cape, and then like Gro's different arms. You know, it's just stuff like that. But I guess I had my expectations up too high for that. Moving away from that, let's get into the battling. The battling is, for the most part, good. It feels really fluid and fast-paced, much better than 4 and 5, in my opinion. The only thing I do not like is the reversal edge is linked to some certain regular square combos. So if you're tapping square like 3 times to go into an old combo that you know, it'll automatically do a critical edge, like for instance in Mitsurugi's case. And it leaves you wide open if you miss it, and if you're not expecting it, it can be a really deterrent. I know it's probably set there to make newcomers feel like they're doing something flashy, but it really just gets in the way, and I end up like trying to avoid using it at all costs because it's already mapped to R1, so it's not like we have that big of a deal with pressing an R1 button. I don't know why it needs to be auto incorporated into the combos. It just makes it feel like the combos are fluffed out and fake. And I guess that's more part to that I have a problem with is some of the stances are like, I don't want to say locked, but they're different mapped out than they were in previous games, so you have to kind of figure it out, which is what the training mode's for, so I don't really have too big of a deal with that. But for the most part, the fighting feels pretty fleshed out, feels pretty good. I do wish each character had more weapons this time. It would have been nice if they had at least one alternate costume, something like that, but we didn't get any of that. I guess they gave us 100 slots in Character Creator so that we can, you know, make a bunch of costumes for the correct characters, but there's not much stuff in Create a Character, so I don't understand how much they want us to get through. I mean, I can make some characters that I can make, but you keep online seeing everyone upload the same characters. You keep seeing Spawn, you keep seeing Venom, you keep seeing Carnage. It's the same characters over and over and over again because, like, that's pretty much what we have to work with. Of course, they're all going to be different. Everyone's got their own kind of way of creating and using stuff. But it just seems like a little bit of a missed opportunity. It's still my second favorite Soul Calibur game, don't get me wrong. 3 is the only one that beats it out for me. And that's basically just because of the content that it offers you in the game. The online was pretty good. I never really had any problems. I mean, I got kicked out of the matches. I probably lost connection like 3 times, and I'm using a wired setting on my PS4. And I have the highest tiered internet that New York has to offer. It's 500 megabytes per second upload and download speeds, and I am using an Ethernet connection, so I'm not losing any of that bandwidth through Wi-Fi. And I was, even when I'm playing some of my friends, like a couple of my friends live in New Jersey, and some live in PA, and so we're in the same time zone and the same on the East Coast, and we were losing connection. And I played with my buddy in California, and that didn't happen as often. So I don't know what the deal is with that. I don't know if they section off different servers for different time codes or whatever the case, and some are stronger than others, but it seemed pretty decent. I'm not going to complain about it. It's definitely much better than 5. But I guess that's individualistically up to you and what you're going to be using the game for. Besides that, the characters feel great. I mean, Gro is an awesome addition. Like, I love his moveset. Geralt's like super overpowered, but I kind of like it. There's not really much else to say that I'm remembering at this time. Overall, I'd give the game a 7 out of 10. And that's a weak 7 out of 10. I'm more inclined to go towards a 6, but I'll still just call it a 7, because it is a good game. There's just a lot that I expected that I didn't get, especially because they worked on it for over 3 years, and the last Soul Calibur game that we got was 7 years ago, so I expected a lot more. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section down below what your experience has been with it. The good, the bad, the ugly, like everything. Maybe I'll do a video on your guys' review of it. So if you post your comments in this, maybe my next video will be based on that in a couple days, and I will show your answers on screen. If you don't want me to show your username, let me know beforehand so I can blur it out. But I think that's going to be the video for today, guys. There was other stuff I wanted to go into, but this is already stretching on to past 15 minutes, and I wanted to kind of keep it a little condensed and short so you're not sitting through a long exposition. But I still like the game. I'm still going to play it. I've actually taken a break from it. I've gone back to playing stuff like Mafia 3 and Borderlands and stuff. I haven't completely beaten each character's story yet. I think I've gotten to Cervantes. But I haven't beaten Libra Souls either. But I mean, with that being said, guys, we're going to bring this video to a close, and I want to thank you all for watching. And if there's anything that you else need, then check it out in my comment section, and because you guys know I answer all the comments. And be sure to go check out my affiliated channel. My friend Rich has got a channel called Ragaroth Enterprises. There's a link to his channel in my description box, as well as Creators Alliance. You can go check out Joker. He does a lot of good things for small aspiring YouTubers, so if you fall into that category, give him a shout, and he might be able to like do a collab with you to help you get some subs. Legitimately, and we're not talking bots or anything like that. But if you have any other experiences, feel free to let me know, guys. And as always, stay powered up. Peace.
여기저기 날 호는 거야 maybe 힘을 가진 마음은 아마 다리 해 그 남을 다리 해 너무너무